Hi, we're Group 5, and our project is on Ella Fitzgerald versus Adele, a discussion of popularity in two different time periods and two different genres.
Our learning objectives will be their beginnings, how they rose to fame, their vocal styles, the collaborations they did, their popularity and impact on music, and their awards and achievements.
The early life of Adele. Adele was born May 5, 1988, in North London, England. Her mother was 18 at her birth. Her father left their family when she was 4. Adele kept in contact with her father, but due to his alcoholism, their relationship dissolved. She attended the Brit School of Performing Arts and Technology along with Amy Winehouse. She happened upon a collection of Etta James and Ella Fitzgerald records at a local shop when she was 15. There was no musical heritage in our family, Adele told The Telegraph in a 2008 interview. Chart music was all I knew. So when I listened to Etta's and Ella's, it sounded so cheesy, but it was like an awakening. I was like, oh, right? Some people have proper longevity and are legends. I was inspired that at 15 years old, I could listen to music that had been made in the 40s.
Early life of Ella Fitzgerald. She was born April 25th, 1917 in Newport News, Virginia. She had a troubled childhood. Her parents, William Fitzgerald and Temperance Tempe Williams Fitzgerald, separated shortly after her birth. She moved to New York with her mother and her mother's boyfriend when she was young and worked as a lookout for a brothel to earn money for her family. In 1932, her mother passed away, and Ella moved in with her aunt. After developing a habit of skipping school, she was then sent to a special reform school. However, by 1934, Ella left the school and started living on the streets.
So both Adele and Ella came from broken families. Neither of the stars had fathers who were actively involved in their lives. However, unlike Adele, Ella did not attend any type of performance art school. And Ella was a huge influence on Adele, and like she mentioned, her style was a contributing force in her music career.
Rise to fame of Ella Fitzgerald. She began singing on the streets of Harlem in about 1933, and she made her most important amateur singing debut on November 21st, 1934, at the age of 17 at one of the famous amateur nights at Apollo Theater. She had originally planned to go on stage to dance, but was intimidated by a local dance duo called the Edwards Sisters, and instead chose to sing. She sang in the style of Connie Boswell and sang Judy and the Object of My Affection. This performance won her the first prize of $25, but for reasons not known, she was denied another part of the prize that would have given her the chance to perform at the Apollo for a week. In 1935, Chick Webb offered her an opportunity to test with his band when they played a dance at Yale University. The show went very well, and she was asked to join Webb's orchestra and soon gained high acclaim. When Webb died on June 16, 1939, the band was renamed Ella and her famous orchestra, making Ella a band leader for the first time. She left the band in 1942 to begin her solo career under her current contract with Decca label.
Rise of fame. Adele. She began singing at the age of 4 and claims that she became obsessed with voices. She wrote and composed her first record, Homegrown Glory, in 2004 at the age of 16, and in May 2006 she graduated from the Brit School of Performing Arts and Technology. 4 months after her graduation, when she published 2 songs in an issue of an online art publication, platformsmagazine.com, her first break into music industry came when she gave her friend a 3-song demo that she had recorded for a class project. Her friend posted the demo on MySpace, where it gained popularity and led to Adele receiving a phone call from Richard Russell, the boss of music label XL Recordings. In 2006, Jonathan Dickens from September Management became her official representative, and she was later signed to XL in September of that year. Her first appearance on a major record came from when she provided vocals for Jack Petta's song My Yvonne for his debut album. Her own breakthrough song, Homegrown Glory, was released in October 2007. In 2008, she was named number 1's predicted breakthrough act in an annual BBC poll that her debut album, 19, entered the British charts at number 1 and received widespread acclaim.
So comparing the two, both rose to fame rather quickly. Ella was invited to join Chick Webb's famous orchestra only a year after her debut at the Apollo Theater amateur night, and Adele was assigned to XL Recordings only a few months after her demo was released on MySpace. Adele's rise shows how influential social media was on her career, even during the early years of social media websites.
So comparing the vocal stylings of the two, for Ella, she possessed a tone that was very pure and supple, and she also had a very unusually wide range of 3.5 octaves. Her pitch was accurate no matter what register or tempo of the material, and she was also a master of scat singing. She also had a very quick vibrato compared to Adele. Adele modeled her vocals after Fitzgerald, like she mentioned, and she possesses a contralto vocal range. She was quoted by MSN Music's or Tom Townshend as the finest singer of our generation. And critics have suggested, however, that her vocals were more developed and intriguing than her songwriting skills.
We've got 2 song samples from each of them. First one is Ella Fitzgerald's A Tisket, A Tasket.
A tisket, a tasket, a brown and yellow basket. I send a letter to my mommy on the way I dropped it.
And then Adele's Someone Like You.
I heard that you settled down, that you found a girl and you.
Collaboration marks another major difference between Ella's music industry and Adele's. While collaboration on the whole is still fairly popular today, they were much more common during the career of Fitzgerald, especially when it came to jazz, where one could arguably that collaborating with other musicians was more common than performing solo. As such, Ella Fitzgerald has a long list of musicians that she has collaborated with and an even longer list of songs. Her most famous collaborations were with the vocal quartet Billy Kenny and Ink Spots, Louis Armstrong, guitarist Joe Pass, Count Basie, and Duke Ellington. On the flip side, Adele has been a solo performer almost entirely, having never collaborated with any famous musician for an entire album. Her only released collaboration came as a featured artist on 2 singles, Many Shades of Black by the Recorders in 2008 and Water and a Flame by Daniel Merriweather in 2009.
Popularity of Ella Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald has continued to have a lasting impact on music and the world of pop culture as a whole. She has had personal music arrangements placed in the Library of Congress, and a music festival was held in her birth city of Newport News, Virginia in 1997 to honor her. There have been multiple tribute albums recorded in her honor, and there is a bronze sculpture of her in Yonkers, the city where she grew up. She has had music featured in the 2015 widely popular video game Fallout 4, which would seem to provide another conduit for newer generations to experience her music.
Popularity of Adele. Adele has had the luxury of having her career take off during the expansion of social media. This has enabled her music and thus her fame to spread and grow at a much faster rate than Fitzgerald. In addition to her talent, the prominence of social media has helped her most recent album, 25, become the fastest selling album in the UK with over 800,000 copies sold in the first week. It also helped the album sell a record-breaking 3.38 million copies in its first week in the US. Adele's career is only a few years old, and she appears to be just at the beginning of her peak. So her legacy and lasting impact of the world of the music remains to be seen. The music industry has changed dramatically from Fitzgerald's time to now, which makes comparing their relative popularities difficult, though it is interesting to wonder how each would have fared in each other's era.
Awards and achievements. Ella Fitzgerald has won 13 Grammys, including the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 1967, and other major awards and honors include the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts Medal of Honor Award and the National Medal of Art. Adele has won New Best Artist at the 2009 Grammys and broke the record for the longest #1 album by a woman in Billboard history. She has also won over 70 music awards in all different aspects of music.
Both artists have had great success. While Adele has won more awards, it could be argued that Ella has achieved more. There are many more awards presented now than there was in Ella's time. However, at the age 25, Adele has a long career ahead of her.
To recap, Ella and Adele share many similarities despite having careers of differing music genres and careers in different eras. Both have risen to the top of music industries in a very short amount of time and have seen the awards and achievements flood in from respected music critics around the world. They've gained a lasting popularity, and it would seem that they will both be remembered for their own recordings and their impact on the music industry as a whole for a very long time. Their only major differences seem to be as a result of their differing time periods. Adele has been able to take advantage of a completely connected world to progress her career at a frantic pace, while Ella took part in the long-standing jazz tradition of collaboration in order to work with famous musicians of her time in order to advance her career. And that's the end.